If you're thinking about moving to Tucson, Arizona, you're probably wondering, is it really affordable? So today we're going to break down what it actually costs to live in Tucson, and that doesn't just mean real estate prices. That is from groceries all the way to childcare and everything in between. If you're new to our channel, I'm Angie Kuzma with the Stratton Real Estate Group. We help people just like you move to Tucson and the surrounding areas every single day. So a question that we often get from people that are looking to relocate to the Tucson area is, how expensive is it to actually live in Tucson, Arizona? So we're going to break that down starting with utility costs, because this is one of the things that surprise a lot of people who move here. So the key thing to understand with utility costs is it really varies by season. So instead of just giving you one number, I'm going to break it down by the time of year. So let's start at winter, because this is when Tucson is the cheapest time to live. The common electric bill is going to be around $80 to $150 per month. Your gas is going to be between $50 and $120. Water this time of year, you're going to be ranging from about $50 a month to maybe $90 a month. So in the winter, your total utilities are going to range somewhere probably from about $180 a month to $300 total. So in the winter, you're probably not going to be using the air conditioner. And since we have mild winters, your heating costs are going to be nice and low. This is when people think that Tucson is insanely affordable. So when we get into spring, which here in Tucson is about March through May, those costs are going to be very similar to the winter months. And then we're going to move into summertime when things definitely change. In the summertime, your electric bill is going to go significantly higher. So you're going to range somewhere between about $250 to $450 for your air conditioner. So this, of course, depends on your house that you chose to live in. So newer construction homes with higher efficiency are going to be lower costs in the summer. So that's why a lot of people choose to go the new construction route. Or if you have an older home like myself with single pane windows, you can get up even into like $600 a month. So definitely a time when you want to budget for the summer. The electric company here even has something called budget billing, where you can consistently pay the same amount so that you don't have a spike in expenses during the summer. Gas during the summer is probably going to be low. You're looking about $20 to $40 per month, so basically nothing. Water in Tucson, of course, is going to be a little bit higher in the summer, so you're looking at about $70 to maybe $150 per month. This depends if you have landscaping, if you have watering systems that are running throughout the summer, and if you have a pool, that definitely increases your cost too. As the water evaporates, the pool is constantly refilling, and so of course you're going to see your water bill go up. So this is basically what other states trade off for a higher heating bill. However, keep in mind that our summers are kind of short, so you're only going to have that high bill for a few months. The fall in Tucson is when people get really excited because the temperatures start dropping. Your air conditioning gets to turn off a little bit more often, and your bills go down significantly. So you get some relief from the utility bills, and you get some relief from the weather and the hot temperatures. So to summarize, about 3/4 of the year, your utility bills are going to be very reasonable. You're going to have a few months in the summertime that are high, but overall, this is still cheaper than a lot of major cities. So if you only focus on the summer months, you might panic a little bit with the utility costs, but if you average it out throughout the year, it's still very affordable. So now moving into groceries, the cost is pretty similar to the national average. So you're not going to see a lot of fluctuation here. A lot of people choose to stick with Costco, Sam's Club, and Trader Joe's in order to keep the cost down a little bit. Keep in mind, if you're coming from a bigger city, maybe like Seattle or somewhere in California, you're going to really like our grocery prices. You'll definitely see a difference. Now moving into dining and entertainment, eating out is where Tucson really shines. You can get great food at a low cost. So if you're looking for a lower cost casual meal, you can be anywhere from about $10 to $15. If you're wanting to go a little bit nicer, maybe a nice sit down restaurant, you're going to be a little bit higher, probably about $20 to $40 per person. If you're looking for some fine dining in Tucson, we don't really have a lot of it, but you'll find a little bit mainly up in the foothills. So you could hit Fleming's, that's a great steakhouse that's higher end. You're going to be at least $50 per person, and you can get up to $100, even higher per person. Or you can hit a couple of the resorts that are also up in the foothills area. Or over in Dove Mountain, you're going to find a couple over there too. Moving into transportation, if you come to Tucson, you will need a car. Our public transportation really is not very popular, and it does not go all areas of Tucson. So you will need a car. Our gas prices tend to stay pretty low. Our car insurance prices are pretty moderate. The nice thing also is that our commute times are pretty short. So you're not going to have a lot of time when you're just sitting in traffic, wasting gas. You're going to be able to get where you're going pretty quickly with lower cost gas, and you're probably going to be pretty happy. You're probably going to be pretty happy if you're coming from maybe a metro area. Even Phoenix, we're significantly lower as far as transportation costs go. Moving along to taxes, Arizona really is pretty tax friendly. So here in Tucson, your property taxes are going to be nice and low, definitely lower than they are in Phoenix. So we're going to be under 1% property taxes, which that's a benefit to buyers here because that keeps their housing costs more affordable. Right now, at the time this video is being made, our sales tax is 8.7% and our income tax is 2.5%. If you're moving to Tucson with kids, then let's talk about childcare and schools. So if you're looking for childcare, you're going to range probably anywhere from $800 to about $1,200 per month. And then as far as public schools go, of course, the public schools are free. If you're looking into private schools, you can range anywhere from about $8,000 per year up to about $15,000 per year. So it can get a little pricey. This definitely depends on the part of Tucson that you're living in. Two of the really popular private schools are the Gregory School and South Point High School. So if you're looking at moving to Tucson and you're really interested in private schools, definitely two good ones to check out. Another thing to keep in mind with schools is that Arizona is actually one of the top states in the country for the number of charter schools. So we actually have about 120 different charter schools to choose from. So again, if you're interested in learning more information about schools, charter schools are definitely a good thing to research as well. Now moving on to healthcare, Tucson does have good healthcare access. So that's one of the reasons that a lot of retirees choose to live in the Tucson area. It is pretty affordable. We have a strong hospital system. The cost of your healthcare really is going to depend on your insurance, of course, but there are all the urgent cares that are popping up just about on every corner that does help keep the cost low for a lot of people that don't have health insurance. One of the ways that some of the urgent care clinics are helping keep costs down for healthcare is they have a program where you can pay $40 per month. And then when you go to visit, if you're sick, then you can just pay $40 for a visit. Whereas if you don't have the plan and you go for a sick visit, you're going to pay in the upwards of $350 just for one visit. So there are definitely a couple different options to keep your costs down. Let's move on to some of the hidden costs that a lot of people don't think about, but that you really need to know if you're thinking about moving to Tucson. So the first hidden cost would be pest control. So keep in mind, scorpions are real here. We don't want those to get into your house. There's also some other little desert creatures that can sneak in. So pest control is a big one that people don't often think that they need, but then once they start living here, they realize that it really is important. Another hidden cost would be landscaping. So a lot of people do not want to maintain their desert yard, especially in the summer with the high heat temperatures. So making sure that you have a good landscaper, if you don't want to do that for yourself, is really important. Most desert yards really are pretty low maintenance, but especially during monsoon season, weeds can pop up really quickly when we get some rain. So definitely something to keep in mind if you don't want to be doing it yourself. You want to find a good landscaper. Pool service is another hidden expense that a lot of people buying a house with a pool don't take into consideration. So it really is hard to keep pool water clear here in the summer months when algae grows really quickly. Literally within 24 hours, you can walk outside and see algae in your pool. So a lot of people don't want to mess with trying to keep it balanced perfectly, so they do choose to hire a pool service to maintain the pool, especially during the summer. Car maintenance is another one to keep in mind. In the summers in Tucson, you do not want to be driving around the streets with no air conditioner. So some people do feel like they have a little bit higher maintenance cost when it comes to a car and making sure that the AC is working perfectly. These hidden costs are nothing crazy, but definitely worth keeping in mind. Okay, since we are a real estate team, we are saving the best for last, which is housing prices. Our lower housing costs is definitely something to keep in mind if you're thinking about moving here. You can get a house that's very affordable in a wonderful city. The median home price here in Tucson, depending on the area, ranges from $325,000 to $375,000. Entry-level homes you can find from $250,000 and above. And if you're looking for our luxury market, it's not a big one here, but they do start around $700,000 and go up. Our luxury market isn't very big here in Tucson, but the prices do start around $700,000 and they go up from there. A couple areas of Tucson that are great to mention because there's a lot of growth there. A lot of people are choosing to move to these areas and the housing cost is pretty low is Vail and Marana. So both of those are growing very quickly. Definitely a good place to look at if you're considering new construction. They're building on the outskirts of Tucson, so those are two areas that a lot of people are choosing. Two areas that are very popular but have a higher price point are the foothills and Oro Valley. Those are definitely higher because you're paying for the location and amazing mountain views that cannot be beat anywhere else in Tucson. So to summarize, Tucson has a low to moderate cost of living depending on the area that you choose to live in. A nice thing about this is that your money goes a lot farther than it does in a lot of the bigger cities. So if you're thinking about moving to Tucson, Arizona, we help people who are relocating here every single day. We would love to help you as well. All of our contact information is in the description below. You can use our website to start looking for homes. You can book a free consultation. We would love to help you out. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos. We post videos every single week with real honest info about Tucson. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next video.